Ask Allah to bless our gathering. We ask Allah to accept from us and mention us among those with Him. I want to spend this time from Maghrib to Isha, inshallah, studying the Book of Allah together. So, like I was mentioning after Salah, the Messenger said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whoever does that, then the angels make dua for them, Sakina falls upon them, Allah enshrouds them with His mercy, and mentions them in His highest gathering, according to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So maybe some people are watching live, I don't know, and joining you, maybe. So this is a continuation of the workshop, inshallah. The workshop, we covered the last 10 surahs, but the goal is to be able to stay connected with the Quran. So I think what we'll do every week is that we'll go over these surahs again and cover some new material, inshallah. If you didn't attend, I have a few of the booklets. And for best progress, week after week, you should register. $14 a month for access on the recordings. And I ask $25 for a copy of the book and the reference sheets, inshallah. So if anybody needs. So the reference sheet is in the cover of the book. It's already there in the book. Alhamdulillah. So I'll put on the YouTube link, I'll put the link to be able to access the recordings, inshallah. I'm going to build on the recordings. So it'd be good if you can watch maybe 15, 30 minutes of recordings on a weekly basis to supplement, or the class will help to supplement that and solidify the knowledge of Arabic. Of course, it's not going to be exactly the same as the recordings that are online. And I'm going to try to add a touch to the tafsir and the understanding of the surah. But I don't want this to be a lecture. Rather, I want this to be a discussion, inshallah. And not fully random, but kind of random. I picked that we would start from Surah al-Takathur today. In the workshop, we did the last 10 surahs. And we also did Surah al-Takathur, which leaves 2 surahs after that. Al-Asr and Al-Humazah are the 2 surahs that are left in between those surahs. So I felt we can start from Surah al-Takathur to review, revise, refresh our memory, and for newcomers to see how how the Quran intuitive method works, and then move into Surah al-Asr, inshallah, after doing Surah al-Takathur. Bismillah. So I will engage you, inshallah. Each word, one word at a time. We didn't write anything on the side when we did Surah al-Takathur. So not just what do the words mean, but how can you remember what the words mean? ألهاكم التكاثر. So what do we recognize here?
For the question.
The hamza of al-hakum is actually part of the word. But that's a good point. And for those who are new, the gray, black, and highlighted indicates important words. And so if the hamza of al-hakum, if this was a hamza for question, it would be gray, and the rest of the word would be black. But because it's all black, that means it's all one word.
It's the attached pronoun kum.
Kum, yes. So how can we remember the meaning of kum?
It's for you.
If it doesn't come to your mind, kum, what does kum mean? There's 2 ways to remember.
You. Ka.
Number one is you go to the reference sheets. Oh, I didn't open it on the screen. I won't have to scroll back. Open the reference sheets. So which number reference sheet has kum?
Number 2.
Number 2. So kum means you. That's one way. That's what the reference sheet is for. But the second way is to try to think, do I know an ayah or a phrase or something that has kum that can help me remember? So for example, Assalamu alaikum means peace be upon you. So the kum means you all. Okay, what about al-Takathur?
How is the
Al-Takathur, how do we, al means the, yes.
Takathur is abundance.
Abundance, okay. How can you remember if you don't remember what Takathur means? So for gray parts or small words, you can look in the reference sheets. Can you look in the reference sheets for black words or highlighted words?
Maybe some.
No, nothing. None of them are going to be on the reference sheets. The reference sheet is only the small words of the Arabic language that are all over the place in the Quran. The black words and the highlighted words are the ones that are repeated a lot. And so, if they're repeated a lot, what's another way to see if you remember them or figure out the meaning? Connect the letters. How many letters?
3.
3 letters. Every word is made of 3 letters. So if you're able to recognize the 3 main letters that the word is made of, and recognize another word like it, for Urdu speakers, what's the other word like it in Urdu? Kasir.
Kasir.
It's supposed to be kathir, but we say kasir. So takathur is made of the same letters as kathir. There's also al, and there's also the ta on takathur, but still the ka, tha, ra of kathir is there. And brother said, kawthar. Kawthar is also a word with the same 3 letters. So that helps you to remember the meaning. And therefore, takathur has to do with a lot. So now that you have some idea what the ayah is saying, maybe you remember the whole ayah and you remember what this is saying. But if not, you can move forward and read a little more. Many times, if you read and figure out a few things for about 2, 3, 4 ayahs, it'll come back to you. If you've learned the meaning and the message of the surah before, it'll come back to you. That's the promise of Allah. That if you're trying to remember the message, Allah will make it easy. So even if you can't yet translate the first ayah, you don't remember what al-ha means, if you read on, you might actually find more things that will remind you, oh, I remember the message. I remember this is surah talking about this. So let's read on a little bit. Hatta is a gray word. It's a small word. So let's go take a look at the reference sheets. Where is hatta in the reference sheets?
Number 3.
Number 3, and we called it the baklawa boxes.
In Urdu, we have hatta.
Hatta also until. Yes. Baklawa boxes because on the left, ba, ka, la, wa. These 4 letters. So hatta means until. And then you have al-maqabir. So here, black word again, not in the reference sheet. Rather, look at the letters. Qabr. What is qabr? Grave. So we have you, we have a lot, we have until, and we have grave, or the grave. The. So the a lot and the grave. Shall we read one more? Or try to figure out what this is discussing, what this is saying? Discuss this one. So what do you think? It's good if you were not able to translate the first ayah, if you were not able to remember what al-hakum al-takathur means as a whole sentence. But now, if you're able to figure it out, that's the goal. So you, the, a lot of something, until the grave. What is the topic? What is Allah discussing?
You had abundance until you ended up in trouble.
Find out soon.
That's the next ayah. You will find out soon. You had a lot until you ended up in the grave. But al-ha is a black word, so it's important that we know the meaning of al-ha. Anybody remember what a lot is doing in the
I wrote
sentence?
it down, distract.
Distract. What does the bubble arrow mean? We had like maybe 5 to 10 of them in the workshop.
Then it's being
It means it's the subject. What does it mean that takathur is the subject? What does it mean, subject? What does it mean that it's the subject?
That comes first.
It comes first, okay. The subject of what?
it's a race. Like
Is the subject of al-haakum. Yes. What does it mean that it is the subject of al-haakum?
that's what's being done, right?
That's what's being done. Being done is not the
Sorry,
subject.
that's what's doing the action.
Al-takathur is the subject of al-ha, means that al-takathur is the one doing.
The al-ha.
And what did al-ha mean, you said, brother?
Distract.
Distracted. So during the workshop, we didn't write anything. This time we'll write, because as the weeks go by, inshallah, we'll be able to refer to surahs we've seen in the past and discuss their meaning. So distracted, yes. And we said that al-takathur is not just more, it's the race for more. The rat race,
Yeah, that's what
this dunya.
so
Yes. Anybody remember why I put a dash? 2 dash actually. Race for more.
because we can add 4 in between.
So one word.
It's one word, yes. So these 3 words, race for more, that's all just one word in Arabic. What's the word in Arabic?
Yeah, so
Takathur. So, alhaakum al-takathur, the race for more. Help me out.
until
The race for more. First translate the first ayah.
I would say your race
Distracted.
over distracted you.
Distracted you. But there's no your for the race for more. It would be takathurukum. Your race for more distracted you. Allah could have said that. That would be a good Arabic sentence. But technically, Allah says the race for more. The rat race. Nobody actually wants to be part of the rat race. Right? So the rat race, or the race for more, distracted you. So Allah is speaking to the listener. Not to the Prophet ﷺ, otherwise it would be ka. You won. Kum is you for multiple people. Kum here is in the column that has 3 plus. So it's 3 people or more. Hatta zurtum al-maqabir. So we said hatta means until. Until you, I think brother said, end up in the grave. Right? Anybody remember something specific about zurtum? Urdu speakers.
Yeah.
Ziyarat. Yes. What are the 3 letters?
Zarata.
Zarata. That's an option. Ziyarat. But ziyarat, actually the ta is ta marbuta. And ta marbuta cannot be a root letter. So what could it be?
Sing yain.
Are we missing a ya? Yeah. Ziyarat. Za-ya-ra. And here it would have been zurtum. But you cannot in Arabic have 2 sukun next to each other. If it was zurtum, it would have been za with a dhamma, wa with a sukun, ra with a sukun. 2 sukun back to back. We can't have that in Arabic, so the wa is gone. It was going to be zurtum to keep the ya or the wa of the root letters, but the wa is gone. So this is a reference to 2 things we did during the workshop. Number one, we identified that whether the root letters is Bismillah, Ra, Da, Ya, or Ra, Da, Wa, still same meaning. The Wa and the Ya can change. Ziyarat, Zur, same thing. Zawara, Zayara, same meaning. That's the first thing we identified. And the second thing we identified is that we didn't have any of these here, but it's in the notes at the end. So they are interchangeable. We just said this, ya and wa. And they're also dispensable. So these are the two underlined words. They're already underlined. Interchangeable, ya can change to wa or alif, or wa can change to ya and alif within the same family. It'll still have the same meaning. Ziyarat, zara, or zur, zayara, za alif ra, za wara, same meaning. They can change, it's the same meaning. It's even dispensable. So if all you have left is the za and the ra, it still means visit. It still means the same as ziyarat. حتى زرتم المقابر, until you visit the grave. Does Allah mean when you go pay a visit to the cemeteries and make dua and go home? No. Allah means until you die. Why does Allah call it a visit? It's for a short period of time. After that, there's another stage of our existence after the grave. But there are people who don't think it's a visit. And these are the atheists. They believe that all that there is to our existence is this life now. Everything is random. Everything is by chance. It's just a heap of molecules that got together and function. And then after that, when there's no more life, that's it. That's the end. The grave is the end.
For the first ayah, since says the race for more has distracted you effectively, can that be saying you kind of wasting your time in busy things?
Yeah, yeah. So now, that's a good point. Let's translate the whole sentence. The race for more distracted you until you visit the grave. In other words, there's no way around it. You're always going to be distracted with more things of the dunya. Right? So is Allah saying that you're wasting your time? This is now what people like to call tafsir, but in reality is not tafsir as an explanation of something that is difficult to understand. Rather, it's tadabbur. It is a thought process to try to see what the message is. It's a reflection on what the message is. And I like to tell my students that tafsir in that sense, in the sense of reflection on what this means to me, is an art. It's not a science. There's no right or wrong. The tafsir that has right or wrong is when it comes to identifying the rules of the Arabic, or when it comes to identifying how this ayah connects to another ayah in the Quran. So it would be right or wrong if you say that this is talking about Musa alayhi salam, when clearly 4 or 5 ayahs before it's talking about a different prophet alayhi salam. So if you compare Quran with the Quran, or if you compare Quran even with Hadith, sometimes you can have a right or wrong answer about what this ayah is saying. But when it comes to further reflection, personal reflection, there's no right or wrong. It's the art of tafsir. And so one tafsir might explain an ayah in a certain way, and another tafsir, another scholar might explain an ayah in a completely different way. Does that make one of them more correct than the other? No, it's just a reflection. So, but this is a perfect reflection, because what is the next surah?
Wow.
Yeah. So it is hinting you're wasting your time. You're being distracted by this life such that you're not taking advantage of your time. So Zurtum is the first piece of the surah that shows that this surah is talking to the atheist mindset. The mindset that there's nothing after this life. The grave is the end. It's the eternity in the grave. Allah says no. It's a visit. كلا سوف تعلمون. Where can we find كلا? Where can we find سوف? Where can we find تعلمون? Where or how, I should say. I'm going to, hammer this because I want everybody to benefit and be able to remember the meaning words. So, كلا and سوف are gray words. That means that they are small words in the reference sheets. And تعلمون is highlighted. That means it's a repeated word in the Quran that's going to be made of 3 letters that we can try to recognize. Now, parentheses is there are going to be some gray words that are not in the reference sheets. These are vocab words that belong in a family, but they're not repeated that much in the Quran. So one example was zurtum. Zurtum is a full vocab word. It's not a small word. It's a vocab word that belongs in the family. Ziyarat, zara, and all of those. But it's not black and it's not highlighted because it doesn't come a lot in the Quran. Kalla and Sawfa are in the reference sheets, and Ta'lamun is made of 3 letters. So, you want to go ahead and translate?
No way.
So both of them are on page 4. Kalla.
No way through.
Kalla. No way. Sawfa. Soon. No way, in the sense, you see the exclamation mark? No way. That means it's a full sentence. In English, sometimes you say, there is no way that you're going to get there on time. That's not this kalla. This kalla is no way, period. It's a negation of something that was said. It's not the beginning of a sentence, it's a statement. No way. No way what? No way that your life ends when you go to the grave. No way that all that there is to your existence is just this life. There's no way. Yes. Because otherwise, there's no way that you're distracted. No, you are distracted. There's no way that, what else could it be? No way what? Right? No way that this life is purposeless. No way that that you're not going to, there's not going to be any consequence or any impact for you that you're wasting your time and being distracted. And no way that the rat race could be the ultimate purpose of your existence. سوف تعلمون. Soon. What are the letters? Ilm. Ilm is knowledge. Now we can go a little bit deeper because we're not in the first few days of the workshop. We did the last day of the workshop and we did number 5. So let's look at number 5. Ta'lamun. Which word on number 5, I'm bringing it on the screen so you don't have to flip pages. Which word on number 5 does ta'lamun match? I could bring it both like this to refresh your memory. Ta'budun. Ta'lamun matches ta'budun. It has the ta at the beginning and the un at the end. If you're lost about this, then go ahead and watch the recordings of the workshop again, and you'll see what this is all about. But briefly, abada in this chart is just used as an example to show you ya'budu is he, ya'budun is they, ta'budu is you, ta'budun is you all, a'budu is I, na'budu is we. Abada, a'budu is just taken as an example to show you how to go from he to you to I to we, and to she also. So now you plug in, you replace the abada with the word we have. What do we have? We have ilm, alama. So you replace abada with alama and you get ta'budu, ta'lamun. So we are here, that means that we're talking about you, 3 plus meaning you all. No way, soon, you all will know. Which makes a lot of sense because kum is also you all. The context also helps. Thumma, again. Thumma, over here. then, or again. Then, no way, soon you will know. Many times in the Quran, the word thumma comes not in the sense of later on, because the word then in English means later on. Many times it doesn't come in the sense of later on. It comes in the sense of another statement, something else to think about. Just like in English, then why don't we do this? If you say, then why don't we do this? The word then doesn't mean after something. It just means as a conclusion, as another thought, right? So thumma is the same thing. Then again, or another thought is, no way, soon you will know. Kalla again. No way. لو تعلمون. So you have, you will know, or you know. لو. So this is clearly a word from the reference sheets. It's not highlighted, it's not black, and it's very small. So where is it? 4. لو.
If.
So 2 words for if. If in the future, if this happens, then do this. If in the past. What does it mean, if in the past? If this had happened, then this would have happened. Or, if only this had happened. If you say if only, that just means that you're not planning to finish the sentence with then something. If this had happened, or if only this had happened. That's law in the past. Regret. I think there are a hadith about, don't say if only this had happened. Don't use the word law. So, if only تعلمون.
Only you had knowledge.
If only you had known. So, when I was presenting this reference number 5 in the workshop, I explained briefly that we say past tense for the top part. We say present tense for the bottom part. But in reality, many times, it's going to be a present tense for something in the past, or a past tense for something in the future. Many times, it doesn't actually follow that it is for the past or it is for the future. But for conjugation, or for the purpose of recognizing the words, for conjugation purposes and the purpose of recognizing the words, these are the 2 charts. That's it. Conjugation is only these 2 charts. And they are called, in Arabic, the Maldi and Mudari', which means past and present. So that's what they're called here, in grammar books. So this is a good example here. Ta'lamun matches the present tense chart. It's the same word that we found here matching ta'budun. So it's present tense. But law is if for the past. So as a result, it pushes the sentence to the past. Even though ta'lamun is a present tense, it will still translate as if only you knew. Just like sawfa means soon. So soon means it's a sentence in the future, not just the present. So same thing for law, it pushes it to the past. No way, if only you knew. علم اليقين. علم, knowledge. Yaqeen, certainty.
Be certain.
The certainty. That's a good point, but I'm not writing the. Certainty. Okay. On the last day of the workshop also, we looked at examples of this. 2 words that come in this way. Ilma al-yaqeen. So I'll refresh your memory. Normally, a word, a noun, knowledge is a noun, the concept of knowledge. Normally, a noun has to have a tanween. Tanween is un, or an, or in, with an n sound. So two harakat, tanween. Normally, it's supposed to have a tanween. And what causes the tanween to be gone? When you put al in front. When you have a tanween, it has a meaning. It means a. You have the tanween. This is reference sheet number 1. And when you have al, it means the. So obviously, if it's already a, then you put al in front, then there's no more tanween, because you can't have both the and a on the word. So that's why when the al comes, the tanween leaves. Normally, the default is tanween. A word should have a tanween. So when you have those picture books for kids to learn words, it's all un at the end, because that's the default. You put a tanween at the end. And default is also the u sound at the end. But now, ilma is a special case, because it doesn't have a tanween, even though no alif lam came to remove the tanween. And this is every single time you have a normal noun, a noun that is supposed to have a tanween at the end, that doesn't have al and doesn't have tanween. Every single time, what's going to happen? I showed you, but maybe you can read it. Every time what's going to happen? When the ism has no tanween and no al, it means it is a idafa. Idafa means you put the word of.
Oh,
So Rabb, no al, no tanween, master of the universe. Rabb, Rabbaka, no al, no tanween, master of you, your master. So this means this is ilm of yaqeen, knowledge of certainty. That kind of knowledge. If only you knew with certainty. There's no way to translate. If we translate the word for word, if only you knew the knowledge of certainty. Doesn't make it a good sentence. If only the kind of knowledge you had was that knowledge of certainty. If only your knowledge brought you to certainty of faith. لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ. Jahim is new. We didn't write it down last time.
Question for you.
Yes.
Can we say only if you had knowledge with certainty?
You could say this, yeah. If only your knowledge brought you to certainty. If only you knew with certainty of knowledge. So if we say it this way, it's not exactly the way it comes in Arabic. With certainty of knowledge. That would be yaqeen al-ilm, certainty of knowledge, right? But in English it makes more sense like this. If only you knew with certainty of knowledge. Yes. So language is loaded. When you go from one to the other, you can't just copy paste. You have to adjust things. Good? لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ. Jahim is new, so we should write it down. Hellfire. I mean, it's new. It was new when we did Surah al-Takathur. It's not in any surah we did in the last 10 surahs. Hellfire. But it's highlighted, so it's going to come a lot. What about لَتَرَوُنَّ? See. It's highlighted, which means that a way to find another word like it is to look at the root letters and try to find a place that you know. In this case, we have many surahs that have this word in the last 10 surahs. It's in Surah Al-Falaq, it's in Surah Al-Ma'un, it's in Surah Al-Nasr, and that's it. It's not many.
ألم تر كيف
ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. So what happened in Tara? This is a good example to show you again. We said that when we're comparing words that have letters, it's supposed to be how many letters?
3.
3 letters when we compare the words. So ta, ra, wa is supposed to be the 3 letters we're looking for, right? But we also said, I was reminding you earlier today, that the wa as well as the ya and alif are interchangeable and dispensable. So dispensable means the wa, ya, or alif doesn't always have to be there. Therefore, tarawu could just be tara by itself, without the wu, or without the a, without any letter after the. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi-ashabil. Didn't you? This is another thing I want to show you. The goal of writing English on the right-hand side, not in the middle, is that, inshallah, when you read the Quran on your own, read it from the booklet. That way, it'll have the words highlighted. Let's look at a surah we didn't look at. This tells you these are the highlighted words I need to focus on. And when you look at a highlighted word, you're like, oh, wait a second. Tara. It's like tara. Let me go look at Surah Al-Fil. Then you go look at Surah Al-Fil. you go look at Surah Al-Fil, and if you wrote the meaning on the side, it will help you a lot to look at it without looking at your notes. And think about it. أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ to try to refresh the meaning of the surah. This exercise, this process of thinking of the surah to figure out the words and to think about what the surah is talking about, this is the best thought process such that in a few months you'll be in salah and it will be just part of you. Without even thinking about it, you'll already be connected to the surahs because you're used to thinking about the meaning as you're looking at the words in Arabic or hearing the words in Arabic. If you go straight to what you wrote on the side, then you're not engaging with the Arabic language. You're just looking at notes. Right? So that's why it's on the side, to help with the process of trying to figure out and think about the meaning of words. So tara is here. Where else is tara? Or tarawud? Ra'ayta. And since we brought it to Surah Al-Fil here, a reminder that tara and ra'a is one exception in the Arabic language. The hamza is supposed to be there, but sometimes it is dropped also. Not just the ya of tara or ra'a, not just the ya, but the hamza can also sometimes be dropped. So yes, tara, ra'a, ra'ita.
أرأيت الذي يكذب
رأيت ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا رأيت الذي يكذب بالدين. What about لترون? The la and the na.
La is for negation.
La is for negation when it comes with an alif.
Oh.
On number 4 here.
This
La.
is for
No, but this is with an alif.
to
La by itself
Absolutely.
is either over here for emphasis or up here 2 or 4. Yes. The na is the na of inna. So it's emphasis. La tarawunna, double emphasis. You will absolutely see. For sure, indeed, you will see. Verily, you will see. Or in a more spoken English, come on, man, you will see. What do atheists say? I'll believe it
when I see
when I see it. Come on, man, you're going to see. Can't you believe without seeing? You will see. So that's the emphasis of la tarawunna. Obviously, at the time of the Sahaba, the Prophet ﷺ, this was not the kind of rhetoric that people had. I'll believe it when I see it. Actually, they did have that. I'll believe it when I see it. They asked to see miracles, right? SubhanAllah. So, Allah says, come on, you want to see? You will see. You're going to see, for sure. Oh yeah. You won't have any doubts when you see it. Hellfire in your face. For people who say, I don't want to use my intellect, I want to see. ثُمَّ لَتَرَوُنَّهَا. So ثُمَّ, the same word we had here. Then, in a sense, again, like think about this too. لَتَرَوُنَّهَا عَيْنَ الْيَقِينِ. So this is not just لَتَرَوُنَّ, there's a ha attached. What does the ha do? It's great, so it's in the reference sheets.
Seeing them.
you can. No.
That is not for them.
It's he.
That is not for he either.
She.
She. Who's she? You will see her. You will see her. It can't be them. It would have to be whom. Ha is she. Her.
I,
So who is she?
eyesight.
Oh, we're
Who
talking
is-
about the fire.
The fire. Yes. We said that every single thing in the Arabic language is either a he or she. The moon is a he. And the sun is a she. I don't know about Urdu. Is Urdu the same? No? So Arabic words have to always either be he or she. And you can recognize them easily Because the vast majority of Shi words have a ta marbuta. Of course, hellfire is an exception. Uh, in this is something household announcement I'll make at the end, inshallah. So there's a list of about 15 words that are in the Quran that are Shi, even though they don't have a ta marbuta. Words for the hellfire is on that list. Just about 15 words. So it's not too many. Everything else, ta marbuta, it's a feminine. No ta marbuta, it's masculine. So the ha is referring to the hellfire. Really, you don't really have to know which word is masculine and which word is feminine. You don't really have to know this. All you have to know is that ha and hu will depend on what the word is. You'll get used to seeing the ha and thinking, okay, so ha means she, but it doesn't have to be an actual person. It could be just a word that Arabs decided are a she, because it has a ta marbuta, or because it's one of those 15 words. And when you do that, you'll just notice, وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا. So Shams is a ha. Shams is a she. You'll see the ha in the Quran, you'll be like, okay, so therefore, إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. So the ard is also a she. You'll just see the ha and you'll be like, okay, that means that this word is a she in Arabic. You don't have to know which one is which, you'll just see it in the Quran. All you need to know is the ha is used sometimes for things, not people. So in English we say it. You will absolutely see it. Ayn al-yaqeen. So we have the same construct here. Ayn has no al and no tanween, which means we put the word of. What is ayn?
See?
Eye. Yes, let's write it. The eye of certainty.
So just trying to understand certainty of knowledge. What was that? The previous one.
Yeah,
Ilm
knowledge,
al-yaqeen.
right, or certainty of knowledge.
So here it said before that, what if you add knowledge, then you learn. And here now you see and now you think, oh, what if I had that knowledge before?
Yeah, you will see. Then you will realize that it is true.
Yeah.
When people say, I'll believe it when I see it, what they really mean is not happening, not true. You're making this up. This is a lie. This is old legends. I don't believe in any of this nonsense. I'll believe it when I see it means this is nonsense. It's not true, right? So once you see it with your eyes, then nobody will say, oh, this is not true, this is nonsense, this is bogus, this is legends. No. Once you have it in front of your face, there's no denying it, right?
Might be too late.
Yes. So the first level is ilm al-yaqeen. You have yaqeen through your knowledge. So it's you're sure, but you're not sure through practical, measurable senses. You're sure through knowledge that you can sense in your heart, in your mind. Ayn al-yaqeen is the next level. Ayn al-yaqeen is that you see it. So this is a higher level of certainty. And then haqq al-yaqeen, you're living it, you're in it. So now people get thrown into the hellfire. Now this is not just ayn al-yaqeen, they're not just seeing the hellfire, they're living the experience of what they used to deny.
It was Lilia.
Anil, yes. Anil yaqeen, what would be anil yaqeen? So an, the principle of dropping the ya means that an could have been from the family of ayn. But an is a word on page 3. Yes. So anil yaqeen, I don't think that comes in the Quran. Anil na'im.
I don't know how you can say anil yaqeen because there's sukoon on noon.
Good point. Good point. Yes. So when you have a sukoon at the end of a word, and the next word starts with al, technically the hamza of al, I mean the alif of al has a sukoon also. You cannot have two sukoons in it. So something has to happen. So you say anil instead of anl. An al. Min minal. Man manil. And then many places in the Quran you have zulzilat. Zulzilat, we were just talking about zulzilat. Zulzilat is this one. But al-ard, you have to say zulzilatil. Yursil as-sama becomes yursili as-sama. Because of alif lam, you add the harakat to make it
Would
pronounced.
that make it to the U for feminine?
That's the point. Zulzilatil ard, the T is there to connect al. So no. And for it to be you, feminine, you'd have to have a sukun before it.
Okay.
So, zulzilti. You were shaken. Zulzilti. ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم. ثم, then again.
Then
So these are three things that Allah says to think about. You're going to see the hellfire. Then realize, when you see the hellfire, you will have certainty. You won't be able to deny it then. Think about it. Now think about one more thing. You're going to be asked about the blessings you had that could have led you to certainty. The blessing of having a brain. Then, I gave it away because I kind of translated it. لَتُسْأَلُنَّ. So highlighted word. Let's go take a look and find it somewhere. Technically, if we go in sequence of the surahs, this is the first time we're seeing it. But when we did the workshop, we did Surah Al-Duha, and in Surah Al-Duha we had a word like it. And we also did in the workshop, we did these bubbles, and it was in one of the bubbles. So first step is, what three letters do you think we're going to take? Hamza.
Hamza, sorry.
Sa'ala. So you could flip pages, but if you memorize as much as Ruman has memorized, then it's going to be a lot of flipping before you find something, right? Where have I seen this word? Where have I seen this word? So another way to find is to think, to play with the sound. Sa-a-la. Su, u, lu, sa, u, su, a, sa. To play with the sound like this and try to make a sound. Make a word that you already know. يسألونك. Does that help?
Hamza.
سؤال. سؤال in Urdu. Yes. That's a good reference. Question. And many times when you do this, when you try to play with the letters, and a word that you know will come to your mind. Question. Wait, does تسألون actually mean question? If you open the translation of Surah al-Takathur at that time, it'll be a very good feeling, because you will read in the translation what you kind of guessed inside, but you were not sure, right? And if you have a hunch, wait a second, I think sa'al, is it su'al? Does it mean question? Does it mean ask? That will help you. Wait a second, I know another surah that talks about asking. Let me double check, you see? So the thought process is really helpful to develop that skill of connecting, being able to connect with the Quran. So in Surah Al-Duha, we had as-sa'il. Page. وَأَمَّا السَّائِلِ سَائِل سَأَلَ. And when we did the bubbles, let me go back to the Takathur, so we're ready to come back to the surah in a minute. When we did these bubbles here, number 11, 12, 13, 11 was ask. يَسْأَلُونَكَ سُئِلَتْ and لَتُسْأَلُونَ. So, ask. Here, I didn't write last time. Specifically, so I'll make a comment about this in a second. You will be asked.
Allahumma as'aluka min fadlik is the other way to.
أسألك. There we go.
Right here.
أسألك. I ask you. Oh, yeah. Let's wrap up.
Got enough time.
Then you will be asked on that day about the blessings. So we actually did not go to Surah Al-Asr. We ran out of time and didn't do Surah Al-Asr. But I think this was a good refresher to start. And I'm expecting that every week we're going to spend quite some time refreshing things and solidifying things, and less time doing new surahs. This was kind of new because we didn't write the meaning of words last time in the workshop. But I said I would make two comments. So one comment is you'll be asked, and the other comment was the ha. When I mentioned the ha, and I said that there's 15 words in the Arabic language, I said there's a household what's it called, housekeeping announcement. So this is the Quran Intuitive booklet. It has 5 reference sheets, and it has a little bit less than Juz'an. The full Quran Intuitive program goes into Surah Al-Rahman and has 8 reference sheets plus 3 sheets that are appendices to those reference sheets. So I will make sure to bring those. And if you're committed and you want to continue with the program, then for sure, go ahead and get them. Same thing, $25 for a print copy of the book. And in those reference sheets, you have the list of those 15 words that are feminine, even though they don't have a double. And you have explanations about masculine and feminine. And you have the explanation of why this is you will be asked and not just you will ask or ask. So all of it is somewhere. It's just that it takes time to solidify each concept. Exactly.
One quick question.
Yes.
Any similar word for al-Hakim in
Yes, there's going to be a few. Surah Abasa. فأنت عنه تلهى. The Surah Al-Munafiqun, right after Al-Jumu'ah. لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم. It's often recited in Salah before Jumu'ah because it's right after Salah Al-Jumu'ah or Surah Al-Jumu'ah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك ونتوب إليك